Hi folks, welcome back to the Addicted Bookworm, where my addiction is all over the internet. On this channel, I do library book hauls, book reviews, both digital and physical, audiobooks, and so much more. Alright, happy day. I'm exhausted. I am so exhausted. Yeah, I am tired. I want to die. And I've had a hard day. Had a very hard day. So anyways, happy Wednesday. Hope all of you are having a good one. So this is like the final video that I'm going to upload today. So I just kind of want to talk a little bit more about Goodreads and not look like a half-dead zombie while I'm doing it. So I did a video, I believe it was yesterday, where it was yesterday, because my Dungeon Crawling Carl book showed up. I was very happy about that. But I kind of want to do a video that's just about Goodreads and why I left Goodreads. As far as the book review and the challenge part of it, I'm still a Goodreads author. It's all part of me trying to get my books out there, and hopefully one day it will hit Pater and I will be very happy. So, good news before I begin. My health insurance card came in. I'm very happy about that. Tomorrow I am going to be getting an appointment to get diagnosed, to see why I'm having these dizzy spells. So, very happy about that. Very, very happy about that. And then I can get back to work. So, very happy about that. But yeah, so other than that, let's talk about Goodreads. So I had been doing Goodreads for 3 years because I like the idea of setting up a number of how many books in the year I was going to read. And at first, it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. I forgot how many books I set up for 2023. Then 2024, I did it again. And I ended up editing the amount 5 or 6 times. And then I did it this year for 300. But I ended up knocking it down to 240 books because I started feeling something that I honestly did not like. And that was, and I mentioned in the video, it was this insane desire to read 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books a week. And I was noticing I wasn't ingesting those books. I couldn't remember what the book was about. My book reviews were 2-3 minutes long. Not enough to give anybody a really good idea of how I personally felt about the books, the characters, all that type of stuff. And it also shows, I'm listening to the audiobook of Dungeon Crawling Carl, because something told me I had missed parts of the plot. Just by the fact that I could not remember the plot of mystery books, the people that our characters talk to, things like that. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and listen to the audiobook, which is why I'm doing those videos. And I was right. And it was shocking. And I was like, I had fun with this book, but yet I don't remember that Carl was trying to get to the flames. I didn't remember. And I was like, is this the byproduct of me trying to reach an impossible goal? And it's it was just mind blowing. I was even now I think about it and I'm like, oh my god, I I'm like, no, absolutely not. So, so that was another indication that my goal of 6 books for 2026 was a very good idea. Very good idea. On my Sherlock Holmes one, I'm currently at page 150. And yeah, I read 25 pages a day. Now, yesterday I've read 50 pages, so I went from 100 to 150. And I sit there, I have, this little light, and I have my glasses on and everything, and the words get real super big, which is what I like. And I can sit there in a position and read 25 pages, no problem. And then I go on Storygraph and I add that number to what I've done. And I'm noticing that, like, as I'm doing it, numbers are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's getting close. It's getting close to 50%. I think I should be at 50% by the end of this week, which is going to be really great. So, one of the things that I've also noticed in the last year or so of being on Goodreads is 2 things. Well, 3 things actually. One, if an author says something the person does not like, they go on Goodreads and they bash the shit out of their books. And I look at that and go, what is Goodreads doing about this? And the answer is absolutely nothing. They're not doing absolutely nothing about it. Because Goodreads is not a site that cares about how much you liked a book. They are only caring, and this is what one person said, of collecting your data. That is the only thing Goodreads does very well. And so I also noticed, and I said this in the video, and I was totally out of it when I did that video, and I'm truly sorry about that, was that I felt like that I was a horse racing against millions and millions and millions of other horses. And you cannot beat these people whose job is to essentially read books. And they don't even read books. They just like go on whatever. They get cheat codes. Because this is the thing, and this is another reason that I am listening to the audiobook, because I believe today's video was 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes long. And I know I didn't cover everything I wanted to cover in the video, so I'm hoping that tomorrow night I'm going to once again whip out my Kindle, whip out my my thing, and I am going to be listening to chapters 5 all the way to chapter 11. And then I will do a video, and then I will schedule it to be available next Wednesday. So, one of the things that I also notice about Goodreads is that people do not leave intelligent reviews. Now, there are people that write very novel length reviews, and I think that it's great. I mean, I'm starting to get into doing that as well on Storygraph. I'm going in there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to write a review. It's going to be at least 2 paragraphs long. And then of course with The Running Man, which I finished today and I'm sending it back to the library today, I'm going to try to do at least a 3-paragraph long review of that book, because I did really enjoy the book. The ending was definitely a lot different than in the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, and then, of course, the Sherlock Holmes one, I'm gonna try to do 4 or 5 reviews, and then I'm currently reading a collection of 12 short stories that features Sherlock Holmes and Watson. I've already read one, and I'm going to be starting probably tomorrow reading the second one. So, yeah, I definitely will have that book read by the time it's due. But yeah, I love short story collections. I really do. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Goodreads is they don't verify the authenticity the of the review, which does fly in face of Amazon's policy that you have to be a verified purchaser. So the only exception to that is if you get the book from the library. And I have a total of 5 books out from the library. Ebooks. Now I will be down to 4 when I return the Running Man. But the thing about my determination to really change the face and the mood of it is to give people that are looking at this book and go, okay, I like that review, I'm gonna pick that book up. And that is what we do as book creators, is we sit down and we read books and we go and we review them. I'm reading the book The Cellar um, by Natasha Preston. And it's about a girl called Summer who is kidnapped by a guy who goes by the name of Clover. And she is given the name of Lily because all the women that he has kidnapped are named after flowers. And it's ripped from the headlines kind of book. And all her books take place in the United Kingdom. So that's probably why a lot of people go, oh, I don't even understand this book. Like, what does this mean? If you knew anything about how England works, you would know, oh, it's in England. He is a psychotic, manipulative man. And what really is shocking is he works for a law firm, which is, oh, Lord. So his law firm has no idea of their, I don't know if he'd be a paralegal or a secretary or something, what he does when he gets off of work. That also explains how he can afford to feed these women and everything, but there is a hint of rape, that he has been raping these women. And this, in summer, is about to be introduced to what it feels like to have someone rape you. And just, I definitely, when I do the review on Storygraph, I will be putting those trigger warnings into it, because I just feel like, as a reader, I am obligated to put those warnings into it. It isn't that I'm trying to be woke or left or whatever, but it's just, as a reader, I feel like it's my obligation to put those in. I'm also going to put, let's see here, kidnapping, mental manipulation, verbal abuse, physical abuse, whatever comes up during the course of me reading that book. And I read 2 chapters a day, and I will be done with the book at the end of the month. So, yeah. So, when you go and have a reviewer review that book, and they don't put that in there, you really kind of get the indication that they did not read the book. That they're just doing it for clout and all that type of stuff. But Goodreads is a social media type of website, and I'm pretty sure it's also an app. And I don't like it because of the stuff that proliferates on Goodreads. The bad part is I had to be a Goodreads author to even get people to acknowledge that I wrote a book, which sucks. But then you have the reading challenges. And the reading challenges are something that I found I just could not do anymore. I could not do these reading challenges. These reading challenges, they take the fun out of reading a book. I I want to sit down and read, say, 25 pages a day, or 2 chapters a day, or maybe 3 pages a day, or something like that. Um, I don't want to be bound and gagged by constraints and by people trying to race to prove that they can read the most books in a single year. Um, and I've gotten to the point where all of my books that I read are labeled as um, basically basically Goodreads will not get any notice that I'm reading a book or that I have finished a book, and that's how I want it to be. I don't want that acknowledgement. I have that acknowledgement up here in the brain. I don't need to acknowledge that on a website. But even then, I do in fact they had a little reading challenge on Storygraph, and I actually put it what's really great is Storygraph actually gives me the accurate number of books I've read and not what Goodreads says I read. And I'm about 2 books away from finishing my reading challenge for 2025. After that, I am not going to be adding, I'm not going, I'm not today. I am most likely, after I get done with the 29 books that are on my Storygraph, that's going to be it. I am not going to be recording any of my books I've read. I'm not going to be putting it on their website, none of that, because to me, I've already finished the book. I don't need a reading challenge to prop myself up, and that is literally what I'm seeing in these readers is that you literally are always constantly worried about how you're performing for the circus. And that is what book talk is. It's a circus. You have people with huge following, like one person I think has 1.5 million subscribers. How did he get that many? By spending a shit ton of money on books and doing I'm going to say superficial reviews of the books. And I'm not going to tell you who it is, because I'm not going to. So that's me. That's me. I don't need to be writing a 4-paragraph long review of a book, but I still do it because I want people to read it and really get a good general idea of how I like the book, which is why, as I said, sometimes I will go back and I will listen to the audiobook, especially if the digital copy of the book I really enjoyed. But that's how I'm going to approach 2026, is 6 books. And, I'm going to have my own schedule of, when I read these books. And when I'll listen to the audiobook, and then I will take a 2-day break. And while I'm doing the 2-day break, I'm going to be typing. I kind of want to see what my reading life is going to be like in 2026 when I'm not reading all these books. And great thing is my physical TBR is probably going to take a very long time to get down, and I'm fine with that. Now, does it mean I'm going to miss out on all these books? Yes, I'm going to miss out on all these books. Now, some people say, well, why don't you just read as many books as you can in 2026 and leave it at that? And that does sound like a very good idea, but I feel like that if I really want to sink my teeth into the meat of the story, I have to take my time. I have to really kind of think about these characters and how remarkable were they, how unremarkable were they, things like that. And that's just how I'm going to do it, because I want to take apart these books and really dive into what they're saying, how they're saying it, and all that. Especially your romantasy books. I've got several romantasy books on Kindle. I got several romantasy books on Nook, and I'm fine with that. It just seems like every time I turn around, I'm always getting more free ebooks, such as, BookBub, my problem. But yeah. But that's just me. That's just me as a person. But definitely, I'm going to definitely be getting books on like I'm gonna check books out from the library on Kindle. Like if I'm supposed to return a single book today on this particular day, and if the day comes and it's pouring down rain, I'm just going to renew it, and then just wait until the weather gets better and go and return it. I love the fact that I'm not bound to Goodreads anymore. I'm not bound to this insane performing art. I just want to go back to having a channel that is just about me reading books. I'm tired of trying to be something I'm not, and everything. But Goodreads doesn't help matters at all. Goodreads did not help my reading. Goodreads did not make reading enjoyable. As I said, it turned into a performative art. It made it made me feel like that I was not reading enough. Oh, you're not reading 4, 5, 600 books. And what really got me, and this goes right into my new low buy. So I'm on a low buy thing where it has to be a book I've read. It has to be a book I have thoroughly enjoyed. And it's a book that I'm going to read over and over again. Like I made a joke that every year I'm going to read Running Man because that book was just so good. It was so good. And I'm going to do a big long video about The Running Man and about how much I enjoyed it and everything. So yeah, and then once I'm done with it, return it back to the library. But one of also the huge things that you hear, it's like what really solidifies that Goodreads is not good for your reading goals is video of people saying, "Oh, I've ditched Goodreads and gone to Storygraph," and that is great. That's great. You're trying to leave as much of the Amazon ecosystem as possible. But then it's like you have basically you have people talking about, "Oh yeah, I've read like 900 books," and there was this one YouTuber who said, "Oh yeah, she did a video months and months ago, like, oh, I read like over 1,000 books," and I'm thinking, okay, and she's like, "Oh, they're middle grade and in children's books and stuff like that," and that's goody and great and stuff, but I could not see myself reading 1,000 books. I definitely could not see myself reading 1,000 books. No damn way. But yeah, so Goodreads is not good. Goodreads, as I said before, is just there to feed information to Amazon so that they can curate what they think that you would enjoy. Now, let's be very clear. I personally am never going to tell people not to read certain kinds of books because Goodreads is promoting it along with everyone else promoting it. But I just think that when you are a book creator, that you do have some sense of responsibility in what you're doing. And I think that we really need to dump Goodreads, because as I said, Goodreads is not good for anyone. So that's why when I did the 240 and I made 240 and the little ribbon popped up saying I completed it, I made sure that all the books that were on Kindle were for not reading. So I could read it and not have to worry about it popping up on my promotional feed. Anyways, that is my video for today. This is hopefully going to be the last time I'm going to be talking about Goodreads. I might talk about Goodreads later on in the year, especially when we get close to the Choice Awards. So yeah, another thing I want to also add, talking about that, I will not be taking part in it because none of the books are good. None of the books are good. Alright, I'll see you around.